technology screens. And as I said before, do not get stuck in the dark with outdated screen paints and projection screens. We're going to put that in there, but we didn't have enough room. All right, so what I mean by that is I see a lot of demonstrations on YouTube of videos of projection screens, paints, and so forth. And it's always the same thing. Dark environment, dark environment, dark environment, ambient light controlled environment. Works in some ambient light or environments. I don't know. But at the end of the day, bottom line is people do not want to turn their homes into caves. Now, if you have a dedicated theater room, that's fantastic. That's something that's designed for that. But even when I know customers I've dealt with who had dedicated theater rooms do not want to be trapped in the dark. They just don't want it because, like I said, they like to show off the interesting things they've collected to design their ultimate dedicated theater setup. And you need lights on to see that. And they do want to display the screen also, too, without getting that washed out, tannish look around the screen. Now, usually, this is what I see when I'm watching demonstrations. This is what most people think of when it comes to projectors. So I get a projector, I got to be in a dark environment, I got to calibrate, I got to spend all this money, it's got to be expensive. Yeah, this is what it comes down to. If I want to go to bigger screens, especially being gunmetal, it's going to cost me a lot of money. That's something you do not have to worry about when it comes to our technology. So this is what usually most people see, or everybody sees, when it comes to talking about projectors. I'm going to show you how we do it over here. So first things first, I like to have my lights on because I do work in here like that. I like to have my windows open because I have a golf course right across from my house, and I like to watch people play golf. Even though it's rainy outside, you'd be surprised. They come out in all kinds of weather. Alrighty then, see? So now we got the windows open, we got plenty of light in here. I'm doing some decorating in here right now. We're turning this into a mini arcade, so I brought up some of my older toys. Now we got all this light in the environment, nice and bright. The screen I have here is huge. It's a 144-inch gunmetal screen. This is the dark gunmetal, not the light gunmetal. Projectors we chose to use in here for the arcade setup. We have a Chrissy LW401. That projector cost me $109, 720p. Some people feel they have to go out and have to spend all this money for the expensive projector. Usually that happens due to the fact that the screen can't make up for what the projector is designed to do. So they figure they have to spend that money in order to get that image to pull. Our technology, our customers don't have to do that. They can spend money for 720p's and get incredible images. Sony VPL FH30, $300. And Chrissy, if I want to get a big boy, but this is my big boy, I'll call it the big boy expensive projector, only $500. This is an LW505. So we can have the windows open, as you can see, optics on the side with no problem. Lights on, 144-inch screen, and we can display a 100% contrast level, a very dark contrast level, and beautiful colors. Let's fire up the units. So this is the Chrissy coming on first. This is out of here because there's lots of decorating in here. This is a Chrissy that basically displays the RetroPie. We have the Dreamcast over top on my $300 Sony projector. And then we have my gaming PC on the Chrissy projector. As I said before, at the end of the day, I don't have to calibrate, I don't have to be stuck in dark environments, and not spending money for overpriced, expensive projectors. Not needed. And we can do this in a fully lit environment without the screens washing out or fading or being stuck in the dark. Now I can keep this running all day. Never have to worry about picture being disrupted in any way whatsoever. Let me go over here and activate my other gaming PC over here. Oops. Oh, I forgot this is the gaming PC. It's different. no, you don't. Oh, give me a piece of roll. Okay, I got it. Well, got them mixed up. That should be it. There we go. We got 3 of these running in the house. Gotta remember the passwords for each one. That's why we like to do things differently. All our demonstrations are done on a completely different scale. And here we have a 3 projector setup. So we have 720p on this side. We have over here 1080p, 1080p. Now this is the dark gunmetal. We have 2 versions of it. We have a light gunmetal and we have a dark. This is the dark version of the dark version. Like I said, you can see it pulls up amazing white levels, colors pop, it's gorgeous. Next room we have the 38 Black Widow in the next room. I'll be posting below some customer demonstrations on the 38 Black Widow, and pretty soon we'll have some demonstrations on the gunmetal, demonstrations on the acoustic screens. But right now we have a fellow who basically posted quite a lot of demonstrations. He's very happy with the 38 Black Widow. I'll be posting his demonstrations below. There's some air in it too. Now we're going to be doing some demonstrations. We're going to be going and checking out some videos and stuff. For those you're going to be buying for the first time, you need to know what to look for when it comes to a good projection screen setup. When it comes to your screen, you need to know what you're buying and what you're getting yourself into. Definitely do not want to work with products that are not going to be doing half demonstrations. But I mean, as in when you're watching a contrast levels are supposed to be done in fully lit environments, because contrast is going to fade the fastest. Faster than red, faster than blue, faster than yellow, it's going to fade the fastest. And usually what people will do to try to fake contrast levels is they'll do demonstrations in extremely dark environments to pull the contrast levels just a little bit better. That's one of the key things you have to watch out for. Another thing, the product cannot match anything else. You don't want that in the day, and we'll explain what that's all about also. Let's see, we're going to go here. I want to go out of this because we can't use portrait mode in here, which big screen doesn't have it in there. Don't know why, they just don't have it. Now I want to do a slideshow on this because I'm just doing demonstrations. That's it, we'll do a slideshow. Let's see where I want to be at today. Slideshow. Now we're going to be doing some demonstrations today. We're going to be showing off 38 Black Widow versus black paint versus black fabric. We like doing those demonstrations. We need a promo for the website and other people we're doing business with all this week. We're going to be doing some demonstrations against the fabric version of the new acoustic spray on 38, showing the difference between fabrics that are sprayed and non-sprayed in those demonstrations. This is one of the things you need to know before you buy a product. Is it going to match something that you can make at the end of the day? That's what you have to be careful about. So we're going to be doing this demonstration showing you our products on different levels. We already have like 29 of these demonstrations, which I can really start posting to the site. This is something that you need to ask. And I'm happy when people come in and say, hey, look, can we do that with black paint? Can we do this with black fabric? Can we do this with such and so and so? I'm happy to always go in and say, look, this is our demonstrations. We can back it up. Here you go. And that's something you need to request. You always should request that at the end of the day. Always request that. Like I said, you have to be careful when it comes to screen paint products. You could be buying an everyday house paint at the end of the day and not even know it. So you have to ask those questions. We don't mind. We go to forum sites all the time. I got to be in the forum site later on today, showing off some of the things we're going to be working on. And we get asked that every single time we walk into a forum site. How do we know that's not black paint? How do I, at the end of the day, that I can go to Home Depot on those and do the same thing. We get it every day, every single day. That's why we came and did the demonstration on fabric, because we're on the website, we showed up the screen. First thing that popped up was, I can do that with a bed sheet. No, you cannot do that with a bed sheet. So you have to go in, you have to do those demonstrations. Very important. You have to back that product up 100%. It has to be done. And just get around it. Especially when you're dealing with companies with large contracts, they will request this all the time. So as you can see, the gunmetal technology looks absolutely amazing. The colors pop. And again, none of the projectors we have here had to be calibrated. And it's interesting how I have people talk, well, you got to calibrate. You do not have to calibrate your projector to get beautiful color. That's all calibrating does. It's basically calibrate the colors so you can get better colors and pictures and contrast. You don't have to do that at all, period. That's so much nonsense. The reason why I said that is because they started calibrating projectors when white screens first came out. I think around, probably, no, not when white screens first came out, because white screens have been out since the 1920s, the silent era. So they've been out for quite some time. So pretty much I'd say, I gotta go back and figure out, I'm gonna find out myself when screens were first calibrated. I know it had to be somewhere between 50s and 60s, somewhere in that area. But like I said, it was done with white screens because the colors did not come up correctly on the white screen, and people got into calibrating the projectors to get the colors just right. A lot of movie studios and stuff like that did that kind of stuff. But today, with the technology we have now, we should not be calibrating screens at all. Or calibrating projectors. Our technology has never, ever been calibrated. So as you can see, number one, no calibrated projectors. Number two, no dark environments. And this is the way it should be. You should be able to sit here in your chair, play a couple of retro games, maybe do some surfing on the internet. You should be able to look out the window and see cars and people and trees and bushes and all that good stuff. And you should be able to have your lights on overhead. And you should be able to do this on a 144-inch screen. Now, the reason why I like doing the big screens, because the screen is going to take in a lot of light. A smaller screen, like a 100-inch in the center, not going to take too much light in, like I said, at the end of the day, because especially if the environment's dark, you're really not going to have that much disruption to your picture quality. But here, this is what you call a normal environment. Nothing, people look at this and say, oh, this environment's extreme. No, this is a normal environment. What we have downstairs in the basement is not normal. That is basically called the max out zone. This is where all this product is tested out. We figure we can get the screen to take in as much light as possible, then upstairs in an everyday environment is pretty much a cakewalk. So you can see no color washout the screen at all. The one thing I love about darker technology or black technology is the fact that you don't have to worry about spending all this money for an expensive projector because you need a very high contrast ratio because it's failing on the screen. That's one of the reasons why people go near projectors that have such a high contrast ratio, due to the fact that, again, the black levels are going to do extremely poor on any other projector, and they have to have that high-end projector to do so. With our technology, we don't have to worry about that. Our screens are going to pull an amazing contrast level, and if they're black, they're going to pull a 100% contrast level. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the demonstration here, just showing you at the end of the day, you do not want to be stuck in the dark. You don't want to calibrate projectors. You don't want to pay for overpriced projectors. On top of that, most importantly, you want a screen paint, number one, that's going to work, that has been tested, but not going to take you forever to paint. Trust me, you do not want to go down that road. I've seen demonstrations where people were painting their screens and it just had so many complicated instructions. This is a 144-inch screen. I could not imagine doing what they did here at the end of the day. You want it quick, you want it fast, you want it dry on time, you don't want to spend the money for overpriced expensive projectors, you want it to work, and you do not want to be stuck in the dark. Hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Thank you for your time. I have to go, and God bless.